In a league built on spectacle, where first-round picks blow through seven figures before their second season even tips off, a quiet rebellion is happening behind closed doors. While the cameras chase the Lamborghinis and the diamond-encrusted watches, a shadow class of NBA superstars is playing an entirely different game. These are men worth hundreds of millions of dollars who hunt for free Wi-Fi, drive vehicles older than their careers, and clip coupons from the Sunday paper like your grandmother after church. This is the untold financial playbook of the richest black basketball players on the planet who live like they have nothing. And the strategies they use to protect their fortunes will completely change how you think about money, power, and what it really means to be wealthy. Before we dive in, you need to understand the landscape these men are navigating. The NBA is one of the most dangerous financial environments on earth for young men. According to a widely cited Sports Illustrated report, roughly 60% of NBA players go broke within 5 years of retirement. 60%. These are men who earned tens of millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions, and still ended up filing for bankruptcy, selling off assets and begging for loans from the same people they once flew private with. The reasons are always the same: lifestyle inflation, bad investments, pushed by even worse advisors, entourages that bleed you dry while calling you family, and the crushing social pressure to prove your success by spending every dollar you earn in the most visible way possible. The players on this list looked at that graveyard and decided they would rather be called cheap than end up in it. Their methods range from the disciplined to the almost unbelievable. Let's start with the man who literally is the brand. Number 7, Michael Jordan. His net worth circles around $3 billion, largely fueled by the historic sale of his controlling interest in the Charlotte Hornets and decades of Nike royalties that have poured more than $2 billion into his accounts across his lifetime. When you combine that with more than $90 million in career NBA salary and a global licensing empire that touches every continent, you are looking at the wealthiest basketball player who has ever lived. But here is where the story gets interesting. Behind the private jets and the custom golf courses, Michael Jordan is legendarily, almost pathologically tight with his everyday money. Charles Barkley put it on the record without hesitation, calling Jordan the cheapest person he has ever known. According to Barkley, Jordan operates under a philosophy that giving money away just because you have it is a character flaw. He sees it as creating dependency in the receiver and weakness in the giver. The most famous example happened at a high-stakes table in Las Vegas when Jordan slid a $5 chip to a cocktail waitress. Hockey icon Wayne Gretzky reportedly stopped the woman, pulled a $100 chip from Jordan's own stack, handed it over, and told her that is how you tip. But Jordan was not embarrassed. He was unbothered. To him, every dollar that leaves his hand without a strategic purpose is a personal defeat. He protects his finances with the same territorial ferocity he used to lock down the perimeter during 6 championship runs. He refuses to let his image appear in video games or promotional campaigns unless the financial terms are overwhelmingly tilted in his direction. Macro or micro, Jordan guards the gate. That defensive posture set the tone for an entire generation of players who laced up his shoes and then, as it turns out, adopted his wallet discipline too. Number 6, Trey Burke. When Burke went 9th overall in the 2013 draft, he was handed a guaranteed rookie contract worth millions. The standard playbook at that point is predictable. Custom cars, a penthouse, a growing entourage, and a dwindling bank account. Burke looked at that playbook and threw it in the trash. He imposed a strict monthly spending cap of $5,000 on himself. That number had to cover his rent, his groceries, his transportation, and whatever was left over for leisure. In a league where players routinely torch $5,000 on a single dinner or a pair of limited edition sneakers, Burke was living like a mid-level office manager in a regional accounting firm, and he did it on purpose. Why? Because Burke understood the grand illusion of the NBA paycheck. A $3 million contract does not mean $3 million in your pocket. Once the federal government takes its cut, the state taxes come out. The agent gets his percentage, union dues are deducted, and escrow is withheld. That number collapses by more than half. The graveyard of former players who missed this math lesson is enormous. Antoine Walker pulled in over $18 million during his career and still ended up filing for bankruptcy after drowning in luxury real estate, gambling debts, and an entourage that ate through his fortune like termites. The league eventually had to build a rookie transition program just to teach incoming teenagers how a checking account works. That is how dire the financial literacy crisis was. By capping his spending at $5,000 a month, Burke removed temptation from the equation entirely. He did not have to summon willpower when he walked past a Porsche dealership because his budget physically would not allow it. It takes a massive ego check to park a Honda next to your teammate's Lamborghini. It takes real discipline to skip the VIP section and decline the private jet invitations. But Burke treated his NBA salary not as a golden ticket to luxury, but as critical seed money for the decades that would follow once his athletic window closed. The average NBA career lasts just 4.5 years. That means the money you make in your 20s has to sustain you for the remaining 50 or 60 years of your life. Burke did that math early, and the math told him to keep his wallet shut, while Burke's weapon of choice was a rigid budget. The next player on our list uses something far more humble to keep his fortune grounded. Number 5. Carmelo Anthony earned well north of $260 million across massive max-level deals with the Denver Nuggets, the New York Knicks, and a lucrative endorsement partnership with Jordan Brand. He is a 10-time All-Star, a global ambassador for the game, and one of the highest-paid players of his entire era. So picture the absolute confusion on the face of a grocery store cashier when a man worth $250 million walks up to the register, clutching a handful of paper coupons he clipped from the Sunday newspaper. Melo has openly admitted to this habit. He described the bewildered stares from everyday shoppers who cannot fathom why a towering multimillionaire is tearing through newsprint to save 50 cents on a box of cereal. But for Anthony, the coupons are not about the math. They are about psychological grounding. Athletes who spend their entire adult lives in charter jets, 5-star hotel suites, and exclusive VIP rooms slowly lose their grip on what a dollar actually means in the real world. That abstraction of wealth is what leads to reckless financial bleeding. When Melo says he is human too, he is fighting back against the distortion field that surrounds celebrity money. He is reminding himself and his family that money must be respected at the smallest level. Because if you lose respect for a single dollar, eventually you will lose respect for 1,000,000 of them. And here is the twist. Melo is not just some coupon warrior living a simple life. He co-founded Melo 7 Tech Partners, a venture capital firm focused on digital media and consumer internet plays. He made early investments in massive companies like DraftKings and SeatGeek. The image of a man negotiating multi-million-dollar equity deals in a high-level boardroom, then going home and carefully cutting out a half-off coupon for dish soap perfectly captures the dual mentality required to build and sustain generational wealth. It is humility disguised as extreme thriftiness, a quiet, deliberate pushback against the expectation that wealthy black men must constantly perform their success for public consumption. Now, if Melo's approach is about staying tethered to the ground, the next player's strategy is about infiltrating the highest levels of global finance. Number 4. Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala was the ultimate glue guy for the Golden State Warriors dynasty. A 4-time champion and finals MVP, he was indispensable on the hardwood. But off the court, he ran a financial operation that would make hedge fund managers break out in a cold sweat. Iguodala realized early that playing in the Bay Area gave him something no other NBA city could offer: direct geographical access to Silicon Valley. Instead of spending his off days in exclusive nightclubs, he sat in closed-door sessions with tech founders and venture capitalists. He opened a brokerage account early in his career and taught himself the mechanics of market capitalization, competitive threats, and scaling opportunities. He devoured books on Warren Buffett and the philosophy of compounding wealth through extreme patience. He lived modestly by NBA standards, skipping diamond chains and exotic car collections so he could maximize his liquid capital for angel investments. Every dollar that went to a depreciating luxury item was a dollar that could not be deployed into an early-stage funding round. That discipline paid off spectacularly. Iguodala co-founded Mosaic General, a $200 million venture capital firm targeting early-stage companies. His personal portfolio includes positions he took early in companies like Zoom, Allbirds, and Coinbase. But he did not just invest quietly. He actively transformed the financial culture inside the Warriors' locker room. He partnered with Bloomberg to launch the Players Technology Summit, an exclusive event designed to bring professional athletes and Silicon Valley billionaires into the same room to network and share strategies. He turned his teammates from passive consumers of technology into active venture capitalists. His philosophy was crystal clear. He did not want to be a basketball player dabbling in business. He wanted to be a full-blown businessman who happened to play basketball. By controlling his lifestyle spending with military precision, Iguodala purchased a permanent seat at the most exclusive boardroom tables in the world. What makes Iguodala's story even more powerful is the ripple effect it created. Before him, the standard financial advice given to athletes was simple and patronizing. Hand your money to a financial advisor, do not ask too many questions, and pray they do not steal it. The horror stories of athletes being robbed blind by their own trusted advisors could fill an entire library. Iguodala rejected that model entirely. He did not want someone else managing his future. He wanted to understand every single dollar, where it went, what it was doing, and what it could become. That self-education mentality spread through Golden State's locker room like a virus. Suddenly, professional basketball players were discussing Series A valuations and cap tables instead of comparing watch collections. Iguodala did not just build his own wealth, he fundamentally rewired how an entire generation of athletes thinks about money. But even Silicon Valley sophistication pales next to the raw, trauma-forged financial instincts of our next player. Number 3. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Before Giannis became the globally feared Greek freak, a two-time MVP and NBA champion, he was a stateless immigrant kid in Athens, sharing one pair of basketball shoes with his brother, hawking cheap watches and sunglasses on dangerous streets just to eat. When Milwaukee drafted him in 2013, they handed a teenager a contract worth millions. But a sudden flood of cash does not rewrite a survival mindset that has been burned into your bones. It amplifies it. During his rookie season, Giannis wired his entire paycheck to his family in Greece and left himself with literally nothing. When he realized he had no money for a cab to the arena, the future face of the franchise started running through the frozen Wisconsin snow until a stranger recognized him and offered a ride. Then came the banking situation that perfectly captures his relationship with money. When Giannis discovered the FDIC only insures deposits up to $250,000, he panicked. The idea of a bank failing and swallowing his money, a fear rooted in the devastating Greek debt crisis he witnessed as a child, was paralyzing. His solution was to drive around Milwaukee, opening accounts at 5, 6, 7 different banks, depositing exactly $250,000 in each account, the billionaire equivalent of hiding cash under a mattress. He flatly refused to invest in stocks, bonds, or real estate because those instruments carried risk, and to Giannis, risk meant the terrifying possibility of ending up back on the streets of Athens. It took Bucks co-owner Mark Lazary, a billionaire distressed debt investor, to pull him aside and patiently explain that if institutions like JP Morgan collapsed, the entire global economy was finished anyway, and then showed him how to buy US treasuries to protect his wealth. That conversation was a turning point, but it did not erase the instincts. You do not grow up watching your country's economy implode, watching your parents struggle to put food on the table, and then suddenly relax because a billionaire tells you everything is fine. The fear stays. It just learns to wear a better suit. Today, Giannis has evolved from pure financial terror into strategic ownership. He holds minority stakes in the Milwaukee Brewers and Nashville SC. He signed a staggering $186 million Supermax extension, but he still hunts for bargains in his daily life, proving that while his portfolio has matured into a corporate empire, the defensive instincts forged in poverty remain permanently embedded. Giannis does not spin like a man who has made it. He spins like a man who remembers exactly what it felt like to have nothing, and who has sworn a blood oath to himself that he will never go back. Number 2, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi is driven by a complete and total disregard for what anyone thinks of him. 2 championships, 2 finals MVP trophies, maximum contracts totaling well over $200 million. And for years, his primary mode of transportation was a 1997 Chevrolet Tahoe he had owned since high school. He called the rusted, battered SUV gas guzzler. When a reporter finally asked him why a global superstar worth hundreds of millions was driving a vehicle worth less than the shoes on his feet, Kawhi delivered one of the greatest personal finance quotes in history. "It runs, and it is paid off." That was not a PR stunt. Kawhi simply did not care about the automotive arms race in the team parking lot. While his teammates were pulling up in custom Lamborghinis and extended Maybachs, Kawhi was content with a V8 engine and worn cloth seats. He completely severed the connection between his internal self-worth and his external material possessions, which is something most people, let alone most professional athletes, never manage to do in an entire lifetime. He also made news when it leaked that he genuinely panicked over losing a booklet of free Wingstop coupons and gratefully accepted replacements, despite having enough liquid capital to buy the entire franchise. His endorsement deal with New Balance, a brand traditionally associated with practical dad shoes rather than flashy streetwear, perfectly mirrors his personality. He turned an unglamorous partnership into a multi-million-dollar powerhouse just by being authentically boring. Kawhi does own nicer things now. A Porsche he only purchased after relentless pressure from family. A stunning California estate. But even after signing a $152 million extension with the Clippers, the core philosophy remains untouched. Do not spend money just because society expects you to. In a culture that demands loud, constant validation of success, Kawhi's silence is deafening. His rusted Tahoe was an armored vehicle against lifestyle creep, protecting his capital with chilling indifference to your opinion. Most athletes build their brand by being louder than the next man. Kawhi built his by being quieter than everyone in the room, and letting his bank account do the only talking that matters. And now, number 1, LeBron James. A global conglomerate, his net worth has officially crossed $1 billion, powered by his NBA salary, a historic lifetime Nike deal, estimated at over $1 billion on its own, his Spring Hill entertainment production company, and lucrative equity positions in Fenway Sports Group. LeBron has more financial firepower than some small countries, and yet, the people closest to him will tell you without hesitation that he is the cheapest man to ever lace up a pair of sneakers. Dwayne Wade called him the cheapest guy in the NBA on national television. LeBron did not deny it. He laughed and agreed. The evidence is staggering. LeBron James, an actual billionaire, refuses to pay for cellular data roaming when he travels internationally. His phone becomes a useless brick until he finds a hotel lobby or arena with free Wi-Fi. He exclusively downloads free versions of mobile apps and games, refusing to pay even minor fees for premium versions. But the most legendary display happened during the Cavaliers' historic run of 4 consecutive finals appearances. Reporters witnessed LeBron connecting his phone to a Bluetooth speaker to hype up the locker room before the biggest games on the planet. And right in the middle of a track, a loud, jarring advertisement would blast through the speakers and kill the entire mood. A man earning hundreds of thousands of dollars per quarter would not spend a few dollars a month on an ad-free music subscription. He subjected his millionaire teammates to commercial interruptions because he fundamentally objected to paying for a premium app. The streaming service eventually caught wind and offered him a free account, which he happily accepted. When a social media platform introduced an $8 monthly fee for verification, LeBron publicly announced he would not pay it. Why does a billionaire care about $8? Because it is not about the number, it is about the principle. Warren Buffett himself praised this behavior, calling it savvy and mature. LeBron understands that wealth is not only about accumulation, it is about strict, unyielding boundary setting. By refusing to be nickeled and dimed by subscriptions, data fees, and digital status symbols, he exercises total dominance over his capital. He intentionally holds on to the defensive financial mindset of the kid from Akron, Ohio, who grew up with nothing. That kid is still in there, watching every dollar, questioning every purchase, refusing to let comfort make him careless. The micro-frugality sits in stunning contrast to his macro brilliance. He famously walked away from a guaranteed $15 million McDonald's endorsement to instead invest $1 million in a startup called Blaze Pizza, an equity position that ballooned past $25 million. He will execute billion-dollar corporate maneuvers and spend $40 million on a Brentwood mansion because real estate appreciates. But he will not spend a few dollars on a streaming app because that is a depreciating liability. LeBron James is the living proof that true untouchable wealth is the absolute freedom to say no. Not the freedom to buy everything, but the freedom to refuse anything that does not serve your long-term empire. From battered Chevrolets to paper coupons, from frozen Wisconsin runs to free Wi-Fi hunts, these NBA icons prove that real wealth does not announce itself. It compounds quietly in the background while everyone else is too busy performing to notice. There is a reason 60% of professional athletes go broke, and there is a reason the men on this list never will. The difference is not talent, it is not luck. It is the willingness to look cheap in a culture that worships expensive. It is the courage to say no when everyone around you is screaming yes. Which of these strategies shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments below. And if you want to keep peeling back the curtain on the real psychology of the ultra-wealthy, make sure you subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. We will see you in the next one.